Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
Today we're reacting to the Jubilee video of Michael Knowles against 25 LGBTQ people. And we're only reacting to the part with Blossom because Jubilee demonetizes our videos every time we watch and react to them. So
this one's free for all.
And it's going to be sped up.
Hi.
Hello.
Blossom.
Look at that size difference. Wow. You know, I wouldn't have a problem with a giant trans woman if the giant trans woman lived in reality and didn't push the crazy crap that people like Blossom push.
But when you're a giant and you're claiming that you want rights for your trans womanness, and you're like, we need to come together because we're equals, but I'm literally this high next to you. Sorry, you couldn't see my hand. This high next to you? That's never going to happen. You're asking to be in my sports, to be in my bathroom, that I should feel safe around you, but you're almost twice as tall as me. I'm not gonna feel safe.
Well, remember, Blossom did say that women are just as strong as men.
Not when you literally tower over me. Blossom's
And
fake titty is the size of my head. That should tell you how the size difference works here.
Okay, the prompt is transgenderism should be eradicated from public life entirely.
Hers powerhouse.
Blossom Powerhouse, lovely to meet you.
Yes. Go ahead. I want to know your ideology around transgenderism, something that doesn't exist. It just sounds more like a sort of propaganda. So I kind of want to know.
Go ahead. I'm going to talk now. I know we sped it up, but this is how Blossom talks normally.
This is just what happens, yeah.
A little bit more about what you're trying to communicate.
Okay, I think for all of history everywhere, people have understood the human person to have something to do with his body. So like your body has something to do with who you are. Now there is an alternative view, which is called Gnosticism. It's a view that our bodies don't really have anything to do with who we are, that the body is maybe even evil, and that our true selves have no connection to our bodies. And I see in the transgender ideology a kind of Gnosticism that says that you could look like a man, you could have a man's genetics, you could have a man's genitals, you could have a man's everything, but if you feel on some deep level that you're really a woman, then you are really a woman. And I don't think that's true, and I think that the social effects of that are really bad because it leads to the depriving women of their legitimate rights. In some cases, it leads to rapes, notably in the last few years. And it also leads to women losing their sports competitions and their scholarships. And it's just disordered and false. And it also leads to more people adopting this identity, which leads to very high rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide. So it's bad for everyone, and it's not grounded in reality.
Which is all pretty fair for a take. I'm not saying you have to eradicate transgenderism, but it's fair to say that it's not been beneficial. It's not been good. It definitely seems to not be held in truth.
Would you say we should eradicate paraphilias and kinks from public life?
I don't think that anything sexual like that should be in the public.
Okay. Well, we just had a conversation where we identified that transgenderism is
A kink.
a kink.
Yeah.
So
But
I
then-
can kind of understand where he's coming from because the waters are muddied when it comes to transsexuals and transgenderism.
I agree.
I thought you had something else to say.
I lost it.
Reality.
Ooh, I don't even think you understand what you say sometimes.
And there's Blossom saying, I didn't listen to a word you said, so I'm going to make it sound like you don't know what you're saying. But it actually just proves I wasn't listening because I don't even have a single thing to say except maybe about the rape thing.
Yeah, usually when you lose an argument or when you know you're going to lose an argument, you go for insults.
The personal
You-
attacks, yeah.
Yeah, you insult the person. And it's weak.
I don't think you even understand what you say because when we talk about these rape cases of women in the restroom, they're coming from cis men like you. So let's be very clear.
No,
where it's
that's
coming
not true.
from.
In 2021. Well, I'm just trying to correct you. Well, I would never interrupt a black woman.
No, thank you. Here's the thing about me.
So much went on there. Cis men can just say that they're women and go into a woman's room because of this whole self-ID thing. So when Blossom is being like, no, the women who are being raped
Are getting raped by cis men like you, yeah.
but they're saying they're trans.
Yes.
So
And this is going to be where Blossom argues semantics. Blossom knows Michael Knowles' view is that this boy who calls himself a girl is a boy in a skirt. You're going to say, well, see, that's a cis boy. Who cares if they're wearing a skirt? They identify as a man. No. Michael Knowles will not call it a woman because it's a boy in a skirt. You want to call it a trans woman in any other context. So you're saying because Michael Knowles isn't saying it's a trans woman, therefore it's a cis man. You're choosing to ignore other people's wording and statements in order to make your point seem like it's the right one. It's not. And it actually just shows your ignorance in having a conversation with someone who has different beliefs than you.
Blossom also didn't notice the insult that flew over his giant melon because Blossom said, don't interrupt a black trans woman when she's talking.
Like 8 times, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the lines that Blossom always uses. But Michael Knowles said, "I would never interrupt a black woman when she's talking."
I just had a hilarious idea for our first item of merch. We'll sell Blossom dolls with a little pull chain, and every time you pull the chain, it'll be, the reality of it is, do not interrupt a black trans woman.
You do not have the intellectual capacity to.
About me, as a black trans woman, I am not a threat to cis women, and I think it is harmful that you are going around here spewing that rhetoric, weaponizing this rhetoric against trans people.
Blossom gets to determine Blossom's not a threat to women, right? But women don't have the right to determine that Blossom's a threat. Just want to put that out there, right? Because that's what we're being told.
This rhetoric against trans people.
Weaponizing facts?
Transgenderism does not exist. We as trans people exist. We are 1% of the population. And there is a lot of power in the trans identity because you are sitting here spewing something to me that doesn't really
I'm not
exist.
spewing anything. I'm just stating facts.
I have lived experience. You don't. And you never will. But I do have a question.
I have
for
lived
you.
experience.
What if one of your
I'm alive.
what if one of your kids came out as trans? How would you
God
react to
forbid.
that?
I mean, I would obviously love my children, and I would
Okay.
try to do what's best for my children. And the best thing that I could do to be respectful and also to be conducive to their flourishing is to tell them the truth, which is that they're not really girls.
Oh, come on. I can't even imagine your relationship with your children. No shade. But
great. That's great.
I just cannot.
It's another personal attack. Come on. The freaks who are sitting around,
Nodding and applauding.
laughing, snapping. It's given off middle school kid vibes.
Yeah.
You know, like childish mentality, you know, oh, like that. It's very immature. I mean, if you're going to be immature, at least be funny.
No, that's the thing is, they don't have funny on their side.
I know. It's
The funniest thing
it's
is that they
ugh.
don't know that they're being ridiculous.
I know. And they think they're being funny when they're not.
And people like Blossom are going to use that like personal attack. Oh, you're going to ruin your relationship with your kids. No, you're not. Not by being like, hey, I'm going to support you no matter what. But bud, you don't have that. That's not going to ruin your relationship. And if you decided to stop talking to your family because someone said that to you, that's on you. If you chose to ruin that relationship, that's on you. Because someone wants to say, hey, I know you. You don't have that.
You know, I heard this argument that back in the day when the gays came out that they were going to come after your children and we're all going to marry goats if we get married. And I was thinking, this stuff didn't start to come true until the trans thing became such a huge issue, because then you started seeing weird stuff. You didn't see marrying goats and stuff like that, but you saw them going after children, and you saw children identifying as animals, which we never saw within the gay community ever, until the trans thing became a thing, and when self-ID became a thing, and you could be like, oh, well, I have long hair, I'm a woman even though I have a penis, and the child is like, so all you have to do is dress up and you can identify like that? Okay, I'm going to put on a mask and a tail, and I'm going to be able to scratch and bite the other kids and get away with it because I identify as a chipmunk. This whole mess started from the transgender ideology thing. This was not the gays.
And now
the
you
gays
hear-
didn't do this.
And now you hear people saying, oh, you guys, gay marriage is on the chopping block now. Don't come to the trees for help. You're the motherfuckers that ruined it. Go away.
We're not asking
We
for
don't
help.
want your help.
We don't want
You're
it.
sitting here and you're like, hey, we f***ed it up for you. Yeah, you f***ing did. I don't ask to be mutilated. I don't ask to have my breasts augmented. I don't ask for you to be involved in any aspect besides letting me have a legal document that says I can see my spouse in the hospital when she's ill. What do you want? You want mutilation, you want medication, you want everything possible. I just want the right to share my property with the person I love. Different fucking people. We are not the same.
They also want strangers to validate their identities. I don't need a stranger to validate my marriage,
No.
my lifestyle, my lesbianism.
And if
They
a
don't need to
doctor,
know.
and if a doctor is unable to touch me, it does not change the fact that I'm a lesbian. If a doctor can't touch a person who's transitioning, they never transition. Where are they the same? It's not the same. I understand that because you have different bits and you might be sleeping with someone who's biologically the opposite gender of you, it doesn't matter. It's not the same fight. Just because you might be a homosexual, transsexual does not mean that you have every right to gay marriage. You officially gave up every bit of gayness when you decided that your gender didn't matter, and now you're confusing the f*** out of people because once you turn trans, it's confused. Are you straight? Are you gay? I don't know. Because if you're a man who turned into a woman and is only dating men, you're a homosexual still, but it's perceived as a straight relationship.
See, if a trans man who's a biological woman marries a trans woman who's a biological male,
It's still straight all the
they
way.
could get married still but we couldn't. Y'all aren't going to have a problem getting married. You never did. You didn't fight with us. You were down in your dungeon doing the weird kink shit while we're up trying to fight for our rights. And now these motherfuckers are like, oh, well, don't come to us. It's like, why would we come to the people who destroyed it in the first place?
Yeah, what? We want you to take a shit on our grave?
I just cannot even imagine that. But here's the reality. We exist. Again, people like you do not have the intellectual capacity to hold conversations.
Blossomingo, intellectual capacity. You are too stupid, is what Blossom is saying.
I would equate this to David and Goliath in a couple ways. Blossom is Goliath.
That's apparent. Physically apparent.
And like in the debates, David always beats Goliath, but Goliath comes out and is like, "It's ma'am. Oh, you will not disrespect a black trans woman. You will not. The reality of it is, well, if you just had the intellectual capacity to understand that I fart rainbows and you know that I am a woman." And then you're sitting here and you're demanding, "Oh, we need to come together." No, you don't even want that. You don't even want that. I don't want that. We don't want that. Go on and have your TQI plus.
They need us, though. That's the thing.
I know.
The TQI plus needs the gays and lesbians because we were the only ones who got our rights for ourselves. We do the work.
And it goes
They
on,
don't.
It goes on further to prove that they don't care about the gay community. They don't care about anything besides their rights. To sit there and say, "Oh well, you guys are gonna lose your marriage." Yeah, go off and show just how much you don't care about women, lesbians, gay men, any of that, because you are so selfish that you are like, "Ha ha, you guys can't get married. See, if I can't get my dick cut off, you can't be happy either." Sorry.
Amen.
Like this, because in a minute you're going to reduce this down to genitalia, and then we're going to have to shift this somewhere else, because obviously
No, in a
people like
minute,
you, that's where they go, right?
in a minute, what I'm going to do is correct something you said. When you said that the rapes that have occurred in these bathrooms are cis men.
White cis men, I should say, actually.
Yeah, that isn't true. Loudoun County, 2021, the big case that actually ended up flipping the state was because there was a boy who wore a skirt, went into the girl's bathroom and raped a girl in a particularly hideous way. And you don't have, hold on, don't cut me off. You said you wouldn't.
A cis boy. It was not a trans woman. All y'all do is go back to cis boys. You're always talking about cis boys. I don't understand the fascination with trans bodies and what's happening in the bathroom.
So this is another tactic that Blossom uses, and it's interrupting so the person can't debunk and make him look like a fool, because that's exactly what Michael Knowles is going to do. Now, I don't agree with Michael Knowles and his idea of gay marriage and all that shit. You know, I was raised Roman Catholic. He's Catholic. I get where he's coming from to a degree, but I don't agree with all of his shit. But he will wipe the floor with Blossom, and Mr. Blossom knows that, and that's why he keeps interrupting, because he knows as soon as Michael Knowles opens his mouth, he is going to make Blossom look like the clown Blossom is.
I think it's cute that you say interrupting, because Blossom never stopped. So
that's
there was never yes, it's filibustering.
Filibustering.
And as you can kind of tell, all the flags are starting to go up right now because they know that this debate is not a debate. It is simply Blossom yelling over the other person. To call it a good faith debate, to call it a debate at all, would almost instantly guarantee that the other person has a chance to respond to your prompt. That's how a debate works. However, Blossom never debates. Blossom has on their Instagram debater, but Blossom just talks over people. There's no debating to be had.
Yeah, when Blossom does a debate, it's just a performance. It's a performance of what Blossom's idea of what a black woman is. Obnoxious, rude, doesn't let people talk, and sounds stupid, which I would say is pretty insulting. But that's Blossom for you.
What's happening in the bathroom? It is mostly happening.
I think you're filibustering because you don't want me to tell you what happened in the
filibuster
bathroom.
who?
Me. I think you're filibustering.
Child,
me.
no.
I think that you're distracted from the fact that a boy wearing a
And that right there,
Child, no.
that is what? That is what you hear old black women say when they're like, oh, child. It's not always a bad thing. And at the same time, it just goes to prove that this is a man emulating what he thinks a black woman does. Not actually living the experience of a black woman. No.
Co-opting it.
Pretending you know what it means. To be like, oh, child, as if you've ever had the maternal instinct in your life to know what it was like to take care of a child. Come on the show. Why not? If you think you won this, because I know you posted that you think you won this, then come on and take me. That's Michael Knowles. I'm just this little Hispanic lady. Go on, be the trans woman you are and beat me.
We can't call them tranny, but they can call us queer and cis. You have lived experience.
Oh, I have tons of lived experience. I would love to sit there and say, so your lived experience of being called the N-word is more important than my lived experience of being called a or a fag or anything like that? That mine means less than yours because, what, you're taller than me?
Carpet muncher.
I've been called a lot of bad things, so, like...
Clam eater. I'll stop while I'm ahead.
Skirt in a girl's
A
bathroom.
boy, but not a trans woman.
Well, there's no such thing as a trans woman.
Oh, yes, it is. You're looking at one right now.
I'm looking at.
You're looking at me
I'm
right
looking
now.
at
With lived experience.
I'm looking
With
at.
lived experience. You are looking at a trans woman who has been transitioning for over 20 years, who
Yeah.
has lived experience.
Yes,
You're talking to an
your
activist here.
But your
You're
identity
talking to a
is not
debater.
grounded
You're
in
talking to somebody
reality.
who's extreme. Oh, I am reality.
I'm not really talking to
In your
anyone because
head,
you keep
I'm not.
talking over
In
me.
your head, I'm not, but I am in reality.
Yeah.
I'm here in front of you right now talking to you.
You're confused
Because
about
you-
your.
The meth or the crack, it's not good. You got a bad batch, Blossom.
I think that's just who Blossom is. I think that's an elevated state of emotions. It's I don't know how to control my emotions, so now I'm gonna get loud and start talking really fast because I'm f***ing mad at you.
He was just on Piers Morgan.
He said that he won Piers Morgan's debate. So you
Look.
gotta remember, this is someone whose reality is augmented to their personal belief.
Yeah, but you can't be telling other people how to believe in things or what to believe in.
They have such an augmented perception that they have convinced themselves this is true.
Like Blossom convinced himself that that wig was something.
Yeah. Blossom has convinced himself of everything and more.
You are confused about the fact that you don't really have any talking points right now because I'm.
He can't talk. You don't have any talking points. Well, you're not letting him speak. He would if you
He's
let him
trying.
talk.
He's
But
trying
you're
so
not
hard.
letting him talk, so he can't get out the talking points because you look like a fool. The fool that you are.
You're screaming and he's fucking shut up.
Why aren't you letting me
You
speak?
really don't.
If I have nothing to say, why aren't you letting me
Put
speak?
me on your show. How about that?
Then it would become your
How about
show, I
that?
think.
Oh, yeah, I should have a show. I should have a show.
In 2018, there were 2 rapes in bathrooms, and one in Wisconsin, one in Georgia,
From men,
also
cis
because of the
men, say it.
transgender identity.
But say it, cis men. Cis men.
If you're going to describe a boy who wears a skirt and goes into a girl's bathroom
No, you
as a
are.
cis man, no, I didn't.
No, you are. This is the example that you run to. Past that, you have nothing.
I've just given
You
you 3
have
examples.
nothing.
I've given you 3
You have
examples in
nothing.
recent years.
You don't. You've been
that's
struggling this entire
news to me, have I?
time.
Struggling to get a word in because you won't shut your giant melon head mouth.
It's kind of like saying, look, you can't stand up, but you keep kicking me in the back of the knees. You're like, look, you can't stand, you little fuck. Look at that. You. Say something. Stand up.
I thought you could stand. I thought you could walk.
Don't you have legs? This is unregulated emotions. This is what this is right now.
And unregulated emotions in a man is very dangerous for a woman.
Unregulated emotions in anyone is dangerous. That's how we get school shooters. That's how
Yeah,
we get fucking hate
but
crimes.
when-
That's how we get murder.
But when a man who is delusional has unregulated emotions and constantly been affirmed, he can go into the woman's room and be very fucking nasty and vile and be violent because he is unhinged and no one's doing a mental check on the crazy that is Blossom.
There you have it.
I think the trans lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Bye. Goodbye.
Perhaps I'll see you on my show.
Yes, invite me.
Yeah.
Get my email. Tell your people to get my email address. How about that?
Good job.
Hello?
Okay, so if we're gonna think about women getting raped in bathrooms, right? It's a small percentage of trans people that are doing it. I'm not denying that that's happening.
So after all that fuss with Blossom, after 10 plus minutes of hearing Blossom go, is that boy? It's a boy. You said boy, not girl. It's boy. This is a trick who
Yeah.
comes right out and says, let's just hear it one more time.
Think about women getting raped in bathrooms, right? It's a small percentage of trans people that are doing it. I'm not denying that that's happening because it is a reality and it's an awful thing for women to have to go through.
Yeah.
But then what are we doing about the men that are the 93% of sex?
That's a good point. Now, we don't think we should be allowing men who have this tendency to do this kind of thing to women, we shouldn't be allowing them to transition.
The problem this individual has is that great thought process, right? But basically what they're asking for is to arrest men before they commit the crimes. Like, what are you going to do before the rape happens? What can you do? Like, you can put it...
create laws that restrict men from going into women's spaces regardless of how they identify. And if a woman sees a man in the bathroom, she's allowed to call the police and the police can come and get him.
Yeah.
There.
I agree. And this person would never agree to that because they have a penis. But that's how we believe in it. And I just would like to say that out of, 25 LGBTQ plus activists, the next person right after Blossom was like, yeah, that fucking was crazy. It happens. It does happen.
I would like to say that I have solved the bathroom debate. It's very simple. Anyone who identifies as trans and non-binary has to go into the male bathroom. Anyone who is an actual biological female goes into the female bathroom. And that's also, it kind of matches up to, because female restroom lines are very long and men's are very short because, you know, men just have to whip it out, pee, and then they leave. So it will even things out.
I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it too. So all those trans men who are like, oh, you really want me in your bathroom? No, we don't. You can go in the men's bathroom too.
Just all of you. You can all have the men's bathroom.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
What'd you think of Blossom's dumb f***ery?
I think we already know. So like and subscribe, join our memberships, comment below, share this video, and have a good day.
Oh, why'd you have to go and do that? Thought we had a good thing going. Now I'm going to fall a little off track since you broke the mold. Take something for the pain and regret for having invested so much time.